October 6th, 2011, Vacaville, California, 9:25 p.m.
Before we start, we hid something in this video. One detail from the actual case file. Timestamp it in the comments if you find it.
A church member calls 911. His pastor just walked out of the house, extremely upset. "I think someone's dead."
The dispatcher asks to speak to the pastor directly.
"I have no clue what happened. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about what she looks like."
His wife was 36 years old, found hanging in the bedroom closet, a bathrobe sash around her neck, an open suitcase, and a note. The note said, "Take care of dogs."
Her mother read it and laughed, not because it was funny, because she knew exactly what it meant.
Joanna Hunter was the kind of person who held every room together, warm, protective, the life of every party she walked into. From the moment her brother Joe was born, Joanna treated him like he was hers. Anybody that called the house had to go through Joanna first. She protected everyone around her, everyone except herself.
Mark Lewis was her first boyfriend, high school sweethearts. At the start, Joe didn't think he had anything to worry about. 6 to 8 months in, the mask came off.
At 17, Joanna came home with a black eye. Her mother begged her to go to the police. She refused. At 20, she documented Lewis choking her, got a restraining order, went back. At 21, he grabbed her neck and twisted it. Another restraining order, went back. At 22, hospitalized with a sprained neck. Lewis convicted on domestic violence, sentenced to 36 months in jail.
He called her from his cell, asked her to visit. She did. At 25, Joanna married Mark Lewis without telling a single member of her family.
"We just held each other and sobbed," her mother Patricia said, "because we knew now it would be that much harder to get her out."
By 2011, Lewis had become the pastor of Fellowship Baptist Church. Former deacon Jacob Cantrell described him as a man who demanded total loyalty.
"I couldn't go to my parents' house without asking Mark permission. He manipulated me for many years. It twisted my brain up."
Inside the marriage, it was worse. Lewis told Joanna that because she was half black, religion could fix her. Her hair, her appearance, all things that needed correcting. Joe says Joanna finally showed him the marks on her neck, deep indentations from Lewis strangling her. You could clearly see the outline of each finger.
In the year before she died, Joanna almost made it out. Her mother called Joe with the news. "She's done. She's coming home."
2 weeks later, Joanna called back. She was going back to stay. Patricia drove her, sobbing the entire way.
"I'm afraid if you go back, I'll never see you again."
They never saw her again. Deputies arrived 14 minutes after the 911 call. No signs of struggle, the report said. No homicide investigators called. No fingerprints taken. No DNA tested. No phones collected. Lewis told officers his wife had no history of depression, no history of mental illness, had never attempted suicide.
He said he last saw her at 1 p.m. She was found at 9:25 p.m., 8 hours, unaccounted for, case closed.
The family fought for years. Nobody listened until 2014, when Lewis was arrested for hiring 3 men to firebomb the home of his new girlfriend, Sarah Nottingham, at 3 a.m. while her children slept inside. Before it happened, he had told her, "You've created a monster." Lewis pleaded no contest, sentenced to 8 years, served 5.
The sheriff's office reopened Joanna's case. They re-interviewed the church member who gave Lewis his alibi and learned for the first time that he had actually left the property during those 6 hours to drive teenagers home. There were gaps, unaccounted time.
Lewis was not questioned. He exercised his right to remain silent. A second pathologist reviewed the case, agreed with the original finding. Suicide, case closed again.
Then the DA's office ran DNA on the bathrobe sash. Joanna's DNA was there.
And so was an unknown male's. Not Mark Lewis.
Wait, whose DNA was it?
Never identified. Entered into CODIS, the FBI database, no match.
And the rope? The braided marine rope found 3 feet from her body. The one Dr. Bill Smock said was the actual murder weapon.
Gone. Never tested. The sheriff's office says they don't have it.
So the one piece of physical evidence that could answer everything
Just disappeared. In 2023, Dr. Bill Smock, a forensic expert who testified against Derek Chauvin in the George Floyd murder trial, reviewed the case. His conclusion was unambiguous. This is a homicide. There is no question.
Smock identified 2 separate ligature marks on Joanna's neck, one from the bathrobe sash, one from the marine rope.
His theory, Joanna was strangled with the rope first, then after she was already dead, hung with the sash to make it look like suicide.
The sheriff's office hired their own pathologist, got a different answer, disputed Smock's findings. The rope was never examined.
Mark Lewis served 5 years for the firebombing, released on parole, now lives in Arizona, works for a plumbing company, has remarried. When a CBS News correspondent approached him on camera, he turned his back and walked inside without a word. His new father-in-law stood in the garage and said he knew the whole story. It's over. It's done.
It is not done for the Hunters. On January 1st, 2025, California signed Senate Bill 989 into law, known as Joanna's Law. It requires investigators responding to reported suicides to check for a documented history of domestic violence and treat the scene as suspicious if one exists.
It passed unanimously. The California Department of Justice has agreed to review the case. Mark Lewis has never been charged with Joanna's death.
She had packed a suitcase. She had written a note. She just never made it to the door.
Nothing can be kept in the dark forever.
If you found the detail we hid in this video, drop the timestamp in the comments.
ShadowDossier. Subscribe so you catch the next case.